An interesting bit of news has dropped recently regarding the Battlefield franchise. It's not exactly the most impressive piece of news that I've heard, but if it's true, and I think that really it could be, it might mean a different direction for the franchise into the future. Now, don't get me wrong, Battlefield should always be Battlefield, and hopefully we will see Battlefield 6 as a big, standout, major game in the franchise that will take the fight back to other FPS games in the market, and once again give everybody a Battlefield game that is worth playing for 500 to 1,000 hours. That's what we all want. A BF3, a BF4, even a Battlefield 1 standard of game. This news though is slightly different. As you know, for anyone maybe who was involved in Battlefield 4 and that game being fixed over time, DICE have two studios. They have one in Stockholm and one in LA. The Stockholm studio is the one responsible for pretty much everything as far as I'm aware in Battlefield 1 and 5 in terms of the game being developed. I'm not exactly certain on the specifics, but I believe Battlefront was also developed there alongside some other DICE made games. DICE LA works on other projects, but in Battlefield 4 they took over the kind of fixing side of things after the game released. They have remained in people's hearts since then for fixing that game and turning into what it was. Of course, Stockholm was involved as well. It's kind of a group project, I suppose, and they all take different parts of that and try and produce the game as best they can. This news, though, is for DICE LA. They are soon to be rebranded. We've known this for a long time, so change from DICE LA to something completely different, maybe their own studio name, separating them from DICE a little bit, although they're probably under the same umbrella still. They're working on a game, though. And apparently it's not Battlefield 6. That would make sense, as Stockholm will be working on BF6. DICE LA, well, what have they been doing all this time? If we think back to Battlefield 5, we had the main game coming out, developed by DICE in Stockholm, and then we had the Battle Royale Firestorm, which was developed by Criterion. Unfortunately for Criterion, they didn't really get to work on Firestorm past its release, so they couldn't realise its full potential. However, it was a situation where you had the main studio working on the main game and then another studio working on kind of a side project and a tag-on little Battle Royale mode. Could it be that DICE LA are working on another Battle Royale for Battlefield, another crack at getting into the market with something competitive that might be an alternative to Warzone? If it is DICE LA working on it, with their track record, and to be honest, with what they did in Battlefield 4, although I imagine a lot of the developers have left since then, I'm really excited. I mean, it might not be a Battle Royale, it might be something completely different, but apparently it is going to be another game that isn't Battlefield 6. Very interesting indeed. They'll of course be using the Frostbite engine too, or at least that's what's been said. For me, this is pretty good, but I like lots of games that don't run on Frostbite, and from my experience, Frostbite is very, very hit or miss. Sometimes the game looks fantastic and runs well, other times it doesn't at all. Apparently as well, from what I've heard, it's difficult to work on. I'm not a developer, so I couldn't say. I really couldn't speak for anyone who develops these games, but apparently it is a difficult engine to work with. It does look fantastic though, and if you're going to create a game that is all-out war with lots of vehicles and lots of players, having it look absolutely stunning is no bad thing at all. If people are wondering where this information has come from, a few creators have been tweeting about it, but also there have been some developers and design directors and these important people moving to DICE LA, moving from different studios over to DICE LA. These people have then been tweeting about what they're doing with the franchise. This has pretty much confirmed that they are working on something related to Battlefield. In fact, the senior design director did come out and say it was Battlefield that he's working on over at DICE LA, but it's not the main game, so read into it what you want. I personally think it'll be a Battle Royale, maybe something to do with a Battle Royale on mobile as well as on PC. That seems to be all the rage at the minute, a free-to-play that can be enjoyed by everybody on every platform. That would be the intelligent thing, and for me, and for you who just want to play Battlefield, we'll have the main game anyway, so it's like having two games. There's nothing wrong with that if they're being developed by separate studios, because it won't be siphoning any of that talent and that time and the resources away from each project. What do you think of this? Let me know in the comments. Only a short one today. I thought I'd keep you up to date with the news that I saw because it is quite an exciting bit of news, a little bit of a leak, but there is some truth to it as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.